because you have money. Let me say it again. Lenders do not approve you because you have money. They approve you because you look like you know what you're doing. And once you know that simple fact, it makes all the difference. I'm about to break that down for you right now. So hang around for 60 seconds and we will go through the exact blueprint of what you need to be able to get funded 100K, 200K, 150K, 80K, 50K for your business in the next 30 days without having to show tax returns, without having to show bank statements, without having to show business revenue, without having to have a lot of time in business. All of the red tape that you might have in your mind that might be blocking you from moving forward, we're about to dispel all of it. And I'm going to answer your questions. So you can put your questions in the chat. And I am here to help you to get equipped so that you can access this powerful information and to be able to move forward quickly in your journey and fund your future and increase the effectiveness of your path. So who am I? I'm Kyle Alexander, and I have obtained over $500,000 in business credit in a short period of 2 years between me and my wife and our household in a dual LLC strategy that I can also share with you. But we are able to use that towards business and towards real estate, towards investment, towards mentorships, all sorts of things. Dazzling, thanks for the follow and welcome. Good morning. All sorts of things. And it's been incredibly powerful because this business credit, these business credit products do not show up on our personal credit. So when we use these cards and use these accounts to do business and to invest and do different things, our personal credit stays completely intact. So that means that if I'm using the $25,000 of my business credit card, I'm using all of it. My personal credit stays exactly the same in the last time I checked, even though we have balances on some of these cards because we've been making moves over time in business. Even with those balances, our personal credit is still 842, 847, 850 on some bureaus, and it's completely intact. So it's a very powerful strategy, something that you can access without having to show tax returns, business revenue, a lot of time in business, even having a business paydex score and business scores and things like that. What's going on, Todd? All of those things you don't have to have, right? So this is one of the most powerful ways to get into high limits. And you can imagine for yourself, what would you do with $100,000? What would you do with $80,000, with 50, with 150, or with 200,000? What would you do with that? How could you expand? And how long would it take you to save up that amount of money, right? I don't care what kind of job you have or what kind of beans and rice budget that you have. It's going to be a haul to save up $100,000 or 50,000. And if you're not using that 50,000 for business, I mean, for like your savings, your rainy day fund, that would actually be probably the smart way to do it. But we're going to talk about this. So I'm going to give you the exact blueprint, like no gatekeep. I'll put your questions in the chat. Anything that you feel like, what is holding you back from this? Or you feel like, does this apply to me and my business, or does this apply to my situation? I'm going to give you the exact profile that you're going to need, what the banks are looking for, which is what you need to know to be able to move forward with this, and how you can leverage this information to your benefit right now, right? Amanda Lynn, thank you for the follow. Welcome and good morning. I am going to squeeze through this information as quickly as possible, right? As quick as possible, because we are, I would say, on a time crunch almost all the time, because I have my baby girl who is 2 and she's sleeping. And if she wakes up and my wife calls me, and my wife is also pregnant, so if she wakes up, this live is going to end in short order. So I want you to get your questions answered. But if we do nothing else, I want you to take advantage of a free consultation call with the team, right? That's going to give you a walkthrough, a breakdown of your exact next step, whatever is going to be holding you back, or whatever is the next thing you need to do to be able to push your life forward and to qualify for this information. I want you to book a free consultation call at fundingmyfuture.net. You can go to that site, or you can hit the link in my bio, or you can text me directly at 240-240-6402 or 240-240-640 and 2, and I will be able to reach out to you. Wish fulfilled. Thanks for the follow. So let's get into this information. I want to zip through it. I want to show you the exact thing that you're going to need to be able to qualify for this. And again, how you can leverage this information to your benefit right now whether or not you qualify for this with your personal credit, right? So, and I'm gonna give you the all the sauce, no gatekeep. I believe in abundance, and I do believe that all a rising tide will lift all boats. So I want to give you this information, regardless of who you decide to work with. I just want you to be able to use it to your benefit, so you can push your life forward. Because I believe everyone should be working towards freedom, to the point where they can live and operate in their God-given purpose and gift, and not having to worry about money, and just worry about impact. And whether that's through business or whether that's through living your life in a certain way, but to be able to impact others positively. And this is one of the fastest ways, I believe, to be able to access um, funds that can fuel and fast track your freedom, and that can fast track your success rate. Because when you have funding, you have access to help and assistance, you have access to mentorship, you have access to tools, you have access to deals that otherwise would be passed by. So again, please put your questions in the chat. I'm going to go straight through the exact thing that you need. And again, this business credit is important because it is separate from our personal. We are leveraging our personal credit profile to be able to get into these programs and into these cards and accounts. But once we have them, they do not show up on our personal credit report. The account doesn't show up, the utilization doesn't show up. So we can operate with them however we want to and keep our personal credit intact. And a lot of people are using personal credit and personal funds and personal savings to operate business. And there's so many limitations with that. And the more that you use it, the more that your credit score goes down and fluctuates. And any impact on your personal credit score, which is why this information is powerful today that I'm going to share with you, because any improvement to your personal credit is going to change your life across the board and improve your life across the board, right? Because all of your interest is going to be lower. So just the cost of being you is going to be lower if you have good, solid personal credit. And all of the opportunities are going to be increased when you have good personal credit, right? So we're going to embrace that journey to be able to use it. And we're going to talk about how can you leverage this to your benefit. So let's dive into it. All right. So number one, again, put your questions in the chat, anything that you have. But here's number one is your personal credit cards. And please write this down. And this is a good time to share this with somebody. Thank you guys for the likes. And share this with somebody, right? Because someone could stumble across this and change their entire future and trajectory just by understanding this information. All right. So number one is your personal credit card limits. If you add up all the limits on your credit cards, is it more than $10,000 to $15,000? All right. And ideally, with two of those cards, do you have at least a $3,000 limit on two cards? And you've had those for over a year. Yep. So, yep. Sorry, just getting the text. All right. Well, like I said, we're on short time. I'm gonna zip through this to make sure you have this information, right? Because my wife might be calling me up soon. All right. So that was number one. So if you have at least $10,000 to $15,000 in your credit card limits, right? I want you to put a 1 in the chat. If you do not have that yet on your profile, then I want you to put cards in the chat. Now, depending on where you are, for those of you that are here watching, depending on where you are, I want to give you the tools, like I said, to be able to leverage this information to your benefit, right? Either way. So wish fulfilled. Let's talk. So, all right. So cards. I'm going to go through the rest. I'm going to go through the rest of the information, but let me tell you why you need to take notes on this very quickly before I end the live and have to go get baby girl, right? Why you need to leverage this information and why you need to take notes on this. Because once you know this blueprint, it can be very powerful for these couple of reasons, right? One, you can just start working towards it and you have a pathway to say, okay, these are the exact things that I'm going to need to be able to access business credit and be able to be in position to get $100,000 in the next 30 days, right? To be able to get 150,000, and however long that takes, it's going to be worth it because the time is going to pass by, right? And somebody tell me that I am lying, that you didn't blink and it used to be January 2025 and now we're almost finished with December of 2025. Right? Tell me that I'm lying about that. So the same thing is going to happen this year, and then you're going to blink, and the 6 months, 8 months, to 11 months is going to go by, and we are going to be looking at this and saying, you're either going to say thank you to yourself that you started taking action on this, and now you're in position, even if you weren't. You're going to say thank you, and or you're going to be looking back and saying, oh, I should have started. So I'm encouraging you to just start. right? So if we don't do anything else, book a free consultation call to be able to look at your credit and what's the fastest way to improve my credit or to fix my credit or to add things into my credit so that I can be qualified for this. Go to fundingmyfuture.net, or you're going to text me directly at 240-240-6402 or 240-240-642, and I will send you the direct link to be able to get tapped in with this. All right, here's the other two ways, wish fulfilled. Here's the other two ways that you can leverage this right now, right? Once you know this information, you can, if it's not your credit profile, then you can leverage what's called a credit partner, which means that you have someone else that has this profile and they're sitting on it and they're not doing anything with it. And you can tap in with them and we can get them funded 100K, 80K, 150K, 130K, 200K. We can get them funded on either on a separate LLC that we guide them to set up, or we add them to your operating agreement as an owner, right? As a part owner temporarily on paper, so that when the bank does their approvals, they're looking at their profile, and now you collectively have access to 100,000, 120,000, 150,000, right? So that is the easiest way to be able to say, okay, now you could still access in the next 30 days $100,000 at 0% interest for 12 to 18 months without having to submit tax returns and any of that stuff, just by leveraging a credit partner. So this opens up the doorway versus limiting things and thinking, okay, I don't have any option to be able to move forward with this. You can open up that way. Here's the third way. And Dazzlin, I'm going to talk about how you can fix your credit, right? That's a very straightforward process, especially when you're tapped in with the team, because we can help with your credit as well, right? So when you book that consultation call at fundingmyfuture.net, or you text me and I give you the link, you're going to be meeting with somebody that's either going to talk about the exact steps you need to take to fix your credit. And again, there's a difference here. When the goal of the fix is to get you towards funding, it's a difference, because some people can remove and sweep off all the things from your credit. But if you have nothing left on your credit profile, like we're about to talk about, if you have nothing left, then you are basically way behind. You need to know what needs to go in there, and you don't want to overshoot it as far as putting too many things in there that you don't need. So you can know the exact things for today's date, because banks change up almost all the time. You need to know the exact thing for today's date, like what is going to get me positioned for funding, right? So wish fulfilled. I have no friends in the city or family. All right. Now you need to start networking, right? There's somebody that's out there that is looking to improve their lives and claiming it. Thanks for the follow. They're looking to improve their lives, and that might be in a mentorship group or an entrepreneurship group or business or real estate, right? And they want to do some things, but they just don't have time. They have a job, a W-2 job. They just do not have the time to be able to do that, right? But they're sitting on that credit profile, and they don't know this information that you know right now and that I'm about to share with you, right? So you could be literally linking with people like that and joining in that way, but you'd have to be confident that you're ready to do the work, right? You're ready to put in the effort, and you're ready to execute on business so that you would be able to get revenue and get a turnover from that effort, right? So this is another way. So now here's the next thing, right? And cash overall, thanks for the follow. Here's the next thing you can do, right? How you can leverage this information right now. Once you know this blueprint that I'm about to share, I'm going to zip through it right now, and please write it down. Again, share this with somebody. Hit the like button so the algorithm knows that this is good information that's being shared, and more people can get access to this. But the third thing you can do, you could be referring people that are looking for funding that have this exact profile, right? Referring people. And for each person, it's not far-fetched to get $1,000 per person, $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 per person, right? As a referral. So you could be making money right now while you work on your personal credit, while you work on building up your profile. And we're going to talk about the business entity structure that you're going to need to be able to access this funding. But you could be making referrals right now and making money $2,000, $3,000 at a time. I just sent a payment out to somebody who just made a referral. And thanks for the share, Cash Overall. Appreciate that. I just made a payment to somebody who sent me a referral. They didn't do anything else, didn't lift another finger. And 30 days later, I was sending them a PayPal for $2,252. Now tell me, could you use that? And if you did that once a month, that would be beneficial. If you did that twice a month, that would be nice. If you put a little effort and did it once a week, do the numbers, right? We're looking at 5 to 10K is not far-fetched, right? And if you took it a little more seriously and said, I'm going to carve out some time, 30 minutes a day to call people and, execute some of the strategies that we can lay out for you, that can add up incredibly quickly. That can be your whole operation for a while you figure out what else you're going to do to invest and do business and things like that, right? So before I go into this profile, real quick, the other thing I wanted to share is that, like I said, I do believe in abundance. This is why I'm here squeezing this in, before I have to go and get my baby girl and take care of my wife and clean the kitchen, right? So this is why I'm here sharing this, is because I want you to have the information to move your life forward. And the other thing that I do want is I want the next generation to be more equipped and more empowered to move forward and to elevate faster and more efficiently than we did. So for that reason, I have committed to donate and reinvest a portion of my profit from any of this to a fund that's going to be helping young entrepreneurs to get into business, to get into investment, to get into wealth creation, to get into financial literacy, to get into mentorships, to be able to help push their lives forward. Right. So that's just a personal thing. And it's not because I have an abundant just extra money to flow around. But I feel like God was telling me to start this business off on a position of giving. And so I am following that. And I want to make sure that I'm not embracing any scarcity. So this is why I'm here, just sharing the information freely for you and letting you decide who you want to work with, how you want to use it. Now, I will say, once I give you this, we're going to go through it literally right now. Right. Jay Nice, thanks for the follow. Only One Eyes, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you guys. And good morning. Right. The the thing that makes this important, right, is we're going to use this information to be able to access, again, in the next 30 days, $100,000, $200,000, $80,000, $150,000, and learn the exact strategies to line yourself up. So if we don't do anything else, please book a consultation call, or you can text me. I pinned the number 240, 640, and 2. All right, 240, 6402. And you can text me. I will send you the direct link as soon as this live is over. When I have a chance, I will send you the direct link. But let's go through it again. Here was number one. Please write this down. It's a great time to share with somebody. Here was number one. Do you have at least in all your credit cards, if you add up all your limits, do you have at least $10,000 to $15,000 in credit card limits, right? And on two of those cards, do you have at least $3,000 limit on each individual card, right? For two cards. If you have that, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. If you do not have that, I want you to put cards in the chat. If you're putting cards, then I want you to leverage. Either way, you should be leveraging those other strategies as far as who might be a credit partner and who can I be referring right now to just be making money off of this, where we can create a win-win-win situation, right? Well, everybody can be up. So only one eyes. Oh, sorry, only one yees. There we go. So yeah, so if that's you, you need to be writing this down and say, okay, well, who can I partner with, and who can I be referring? And if you want to know about that affiliate program, just put affiliate in the chat. Or you can text me the word affiliate and text me your name as well, so I can get you signed up and get you the information on how you can get signed up, basically for free. How you can get signed up and start referring people, have your own link, and start referring people to this service, whether they need help with their credit or whether they need funding for their business. And you can be getting paid out on that, like literally right now. So I will send you that. Again, text me at 240-240-6402. That's the easiest way. But if you put it in the chat, I'll see if I can tap into that here as well. Right. And I see you, Mickey 7223. I see you on affiliate. So I'm gonna reach out to you. So if you can send me a text as well, 240-240-6402. Right. If you send me that text as well, then I can send that to you directly. And we can go from there. All right, here we go. So this was number one, was the cards, right? 10 to 15,000. Number two, write this down, you guys, and please share this with somebody. Number two, your utilization needs to be below 30% and ideally below 10%. This is across all of your cards, and also each individual card needs to be at that rate. A lot of people don't know that it's both, but you need to check each individual card and across all of your cards. Right. So if your utilization is below 30%, I want you to put a 2 in the chat. If your utilization is above 30%, I want you to put utilization. And if utilization is your only issue, then I want you to know that I have a hack for you to deal with your utilization, to be able to change that even without having to pay anything down. And you can change that whole situation and be ready for funding if utilization is your only issue. I can share that hack with you if you want. Right, but put utilization in the chat if that's your issue. If not, I want you to put a 2 in the chat. Here's number 3. Number 3 is your J Nicole 83. Thanks for the follow. All right. Here's number 3 is your increase need to be 0 to 3 increase per bureau, right? So 3 inquiries max per bureau. If you have less than 3 inquiries, and it's even more important the inquiries that you have in the recent 6 months. So anything older than 6 months has a little less impact on the funding decisions and the approvals. Robin James, thanks for the follow. Teddy Hanna, appreciate the follow. Appreciate you guys. Again, share this with somebody, you guys. This is powerful information that can change the course of somebody's life. You just don't know what you don't know. So once you know it, you realize, okay, I can access these funds in the next 30 days if I'm just lined up with this, or if I align myself with somebody that has this. It's a game changer, right? Official Foundation, Mecca, appreciate the follow. All right, so we talked about the inquiries, right? If you have less than 3 inquiries per bureau, then I want you to put a 3 in the chat. If you have more than 3 inquiries, I want you to put inquiries in the chat. All right, just so we're tracking where we're at. All right, so here's number 4. Again, write this down. This is the exact sauce, no gatekeep, exactly what the banks are going to be looking for to get you the most possible outcomes. All right, now, depending on who you work with, like I said, this information, you'll be ready for funding. Depending on who you work with will determine the amount of funding that you get, the results, right? So there is a variation because I've seen it with my own eyes, depending on which company that you might go with, or which strategy. Or if you try to tackle it on your own, and just a quick example is somebody was getting approvals of $3,000, right? At Chase, for example, $3,000. Chase has changed a lot of things up recently. They used to be the one that would just give it out like nonstop. It's changed it up. $3,000 approval on Chase, and with our client, we got $50,000 from Chase in the first. So again, no shade to $3,000, right? Because that's when you're using business credit, that can do a lot if you use it strategically. However, if you're saying the difference of that versus 50,000, it's a significant difference, right? It's even less so. Somebody got a $8,000 approval versus a $28,000 approval with Amex, right? So the differences are out there. So again, I want you to have the information so you can move however you want to, but I want to encourage you that when you're working with the team, that we are getting results for people every day, right? And this is how we're able to move forward quickly. So again, if we don't do anything else, text me 240-240-6402, or you can go to fundingmyfuture.net, or just hit the link in my bio, and you can it takes 60 seconds to fill out the little form and to get your free consultation call. You're going to walk away with value either way, and get your free consultation to look at what do I need to do with my credit, or what do I need to do with my business entity, or what do I need to do with anything to be able to get ready for funding, right? And you can move forward right now. Okay, so Christy says you have issue with utilization. All right, so we'll talk about that. I'm going to zip through the rest of this. I'm going to go back to utilization to give you the hack, right? The critical hack that can deal with utilization even without you having to pay things down, right? I'm going to go through that. So here's number 4. So we got number 1 was the cards, $10,000 to $15,000 limit. Number 2, your utilization needs to be 30% or less on each individual card, as well as across the board. But ideally, you've got low utilization of 10% or less. All right, number 3. Okay, and Mickey, I see you got inquiries. I'm going to tell you that we can deal with inquiries as well. All right, if you have more than 3 inquiries per bureau, there are ways to deal with that, especially if they're not tied to open accounts on your personal credit report. We can deal with that, or we can teach you how to deal with it yourself. And this is another big point, is that when you're working with us, it's a consultation relationship. We want you to be educated along the way so that you can do things on your own if you want to and if you have the time to, right? Versus a lot of other people where it's just kind of one and done, or the process is very held tight. Once you're in, you're just learning. So down the road, you can be doing this, for yourself, or if you want to just kind of keep doing it that way with the team, then you can do it that way as well. So it's a learning process. It's an ongoing relationship, and we're looking at your overall, arc and saying, okay, what's the best moves for you to make, right? This is a very unique situation. This is why I'm partnered with the team that I am. This is why I'm doing this in this way, is because it's a very unique situation, and we can help with any types of funding across the board, right? So this is like SBA loans, unsecured loans, working capital, right? Business lines of credit, equipment financing, vehicle financing. We can help with all of that. But not everybody is positioned for that, because for those other products, typically they're not going to be 0%. And those other products, you're going to need some sort of collateral, or you're going to need tax returns. You're going to need documents. You need to show your business revenue. You're going to need to submit all of that stuff. And if you are in that position, we can help with all of that, right? Or if you're not in that position, until you get there, we can leverage this 0% stacking method where we're getting access to multiple business credit cards at 0% interest, right? And we are stacking those up to get to a certain amount. And that is, again, that's the fastest way to get into this business credit, right? It's the fastest way to build up your business credit score, right? There's so many advantages to this, and there's so little red tape because you do not have to have tax returns. You do not have to have business revenue, time in business, all that stuff. Again, put your questions in the chat so I can answer these questions. What is holding you back? What do you feel like I don't qualify for this, right? Business funding and personal credit. Need help, Joanne? Yes, Joanne, please reach out. Book a call with the team. You can do it right now in 60 seconds. You can go to fundingmyfuture.net, or you can text me, right? Or go to the link in my bio, or you can text me directly and I will send you the link that you can get to right away, right? Dove Hill, what's up? All right, so 240-240-6402. Like I said, we're on borrowed time because I gotta clean the kitchen to keep a happy wife, happy life, right? So here we go. So we talked about the cards, 10 to 15,000. We talked about utilization being under 30%, ideally under 10%. That was number 2. We talked about number 3 being 3 inquiries or less per bureau, and ideally as few as possible in the last 6 months, right? Number 4, you need to have at least 7 to 10 primary accounts in your name on your credit profile. Joanne, thanks for the follow, right? At least 10 accounts. Do you have at least 7 to 10 accounts? And this is accounts across the board, not just credit cards. This is mortgages, auto loans, student loans, store cards, credit cards, right? Anything, personal loans. Do you have at least 7 to 10? And the more the mix, the better, right? So there was somebody on our live recently that had, they had 7 credit cards. They didn't have anything else. And then they had a pretty decent score and they were getting denied and they didn't understand why. It's because they did not have any other accounts that were mixed in there that could make it more robust. So the credit score is not the thing that matters, right? Credit score is important, but it's not the only thing that we go by. So if you have a 700 or a 680 or a 750, and you hear a lot of people say, hey, if you have these scores, then you're ready. That's not always the case. But if you have this profile that I'm sharing with you right now, once you have this profile, then you are ready. And once you get it, this unlocks almost permanently like a never-ending flow of funding, because you can repeat this process over and over every 6 to 12 months. So that means if you got approved for 100K, 150K, 120K, 6 months later, we can go back and do it again and probably at bigger levels, right? So that might be 150K the next time, 200K the next time, right? And then you go back and do it again, and it opens everything up. So again, I would encourage you that you need to start today. If this is not you and your profile and your credit feels far away, just start working on it. And the best way to start working on it is with the team to be able to advise you on these are the exact steps. This is the exact thing you need to do. All right, so here we go. Write this down again. Share this with somebody, you guys. This is the sauce. The credit cards, 10 to 15,000 limits overall. Add up all your cards. Number 2 is your utilization, below 30%, ideally below 10%. Number 3 is your inquiries. Need to be 0 to 3 inquiries per bureau. Number 4 was your accounts, right? So if you have at least 10 accounts, 7 to 10 accounts on your profile, I want you to put a number 4 in the chat. If you do not have that, I want you to put accounts, because now we have another thing. Okay, this is what we need to work towards. That was number 4. Here's number 5. We're almost there. Number 5 is the average age of your credit needs to be more than 2 years, 2 years or more, right? Ideally, it's 4 to 5 years or more for the average age of all your credit. If you have number 5, I want you to put a 5 in the chat. If you do not have that, I want you to put age in the chat. And Steph and Only One Yees, I see you for accounts. So now we need to know, okay, well, which accounts do we need to add in? Which can we do quickly, to build up our score properly, right? So you need to do that. Now, Steph, I see you with age, right? If age is the only thing holding you back and we've got all the other things in place, or we're getting things set up, there are some things we can do to be able to maneuver the age and position yourself properly to be able to get funded, even if you don't have that. So again, we can walk you through that, and I can share with you some things that we can do to deal with age. All right, so here's the last one, number 6. Number 6 is we need to have no derogatories, no negatives. That means no late payments in the last 2 years. So if you have a late payment older than 2 years, then you can squeeze by, but no late payments, no collections, no charge-offs, and no bankruptcy. If you have no negatives, I want you to put a 6 in the chat. If you have some negatives on your report, then I want you to put negatives. Now, again, our team can help to remove things from your report and also to add things into your report or guide you on what to add into your report. Right? A lot of our clients that need help with negatives, right? For you, only one yees, a lot of our clients are seeing results in the first 90 days, right? So there's never any guarantees. Diamond, thanks for the follow. There's never any guarantees with credit repair. And for those that do have them, it's usually kind of like a side-handed tactic that is probably not compliant or not legal to approach it that way. So this is why we are using whatever methods that we are using. We're always keeping it as compliant as possible, right? So there's never guarantees. And again, whatever time that it takes, it's going to be worth it to just go into it. But a lot of our clients are seeing results in the first 90 days. So if you take a look now and say, okay, even if my credit is not great, that potentially by March, of next year, I could be ready to access 100,000, 150,000, and I can go through the holiday and make my plans and set things up so that things line up and I'm ready to access this now without having to have time in business. I could start my LLC tonight. Like all of that stuff, that would be totally worth it. So again, I would encourage you, and thanks for the follow, Steph. I'm going to be rich. I like that. Thanks for the follow. Diamond, appreciate the follow. All right. So this is why it makes sense to just dive into it and start getting the consultation now and start working on your credit now. Now, if I just share with you the exact sauce, you guys, those 6 bullet points, those data points that the banks are looking for, if you have that, we haven't even talked about the LLC, the business entity structure that's going to be required to push things forward, right, with the banks. That part is important. However, even if you don't have an LLC at all, we can help with that part in a matter of days as far as setting things up and getting it positioned properly. All the bullet points that we can talk about for that business entity structure. But if you have this personal credit profile, then you are literally sitting on 100K. You're sitting on 80K. You're sitting on 150K in the next 30 days. And you're also sitting on, like I said, a never ending practically flow of funding because you can access and recycle this under the right, strategy. You can recycle this every 6 to 12 months. All right. So if you have all 6 of those, I want you to put ready in the chat. I want you to put ready in the chat. If you are missing any of those that we talked about, I want you to put the one that you are missing. And Mickey, I see that you have age was another thing. All right. So I want you to put that in the chat as far as what else is going to be holding you back from this. And do you need to know, right? Do you need to know? Headman, he the man, 87. I like that. All right. So just came in. Can I catch you up? All right. Yes, I can catch you up. While people are putting in the chat, what is the one thing that's holding you back? Right? Or what are the things that are holding you back? All right. So here we go. He the man. Number 1 is you have 10 to 15,000 in your credit card limits if you add up all your cards. Number 2, do you have utilization below 30%, ideally below 10%? Number 3, do you have 0 to 3 inquiries per bureau max, right? And as few as possible in the last 6 months. Number 4, do you have at least 10 primary accounts? That means in your name showing up on your credit report: mortgages, auto loans, student loans, store cards, personal loans, all that, credit cards. Number 5, do you have at least 2 years in your average age of credit, and ideally 4 to 5 years or more? Number 6, no negatives. That means no late payments in the last 2 years, no collections, no charge-offs, and no bankruptcy. If you have that, I want you to put ready in the chat. If you do not have one of those, I want you to put which one is holding you back. And just for the sake of my friend who put utilization, I'm going to just share very quickly. Christy, I'm going to share very quickly. If you guys want to know it, let me know if you want to know it. The hack to be able to deal with utilization, even without having to pay anything down. Yep. So negatives and utilization. Net R55 says bankruptcy. Okay. So now it's time to get to work. Now, bankruptcies typically are going to take longer, right? To deal with. But if you start today, then everything's going to be great. So Mickey says everything's holding you back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now it's time to get to work. Let's start today on building your credit. Start today on fixing it. Everything can be fixed. Everything can be removed, right? It might not be overnight, but everything can. So if you start today, that's going to be the best thing. So again, I would encourage to book a consultation call with the team and get started now. Now, again, if everything is holding you back, guess what's not holding you back, right? Guess what's not holding you back is Can you leverage a credit partner? All right, and somebody that was on the live here that said, Miss Lovey, thanks for the follow. Somebody that was on the live here said, I don't qualify for this at all, but my fiance does. Could we leverage that? Yep, 1000%. Right? You can use that, and we can set it up so that the bank is looking at their profile when it's time to get funded, and boom, you're off to the races. So that's the number one way that if you do not qualify for this, while you work on your credit and while you position yourself to be set up for this, that's the number one way. The number two way is you can be making money right now by just referring people that have that profile, or referring people who are looking for funding, or even referring people that need help with their credit, because we can help with all of those. So if you want to know about that, again, I saw those that put affiliate, but text me the word affiliate and put your name in the text so I know who you are, and I can get you tapped in with the information so that you can be getting paid $1,000 a client, $2,000 a client, $3,000 a client, $2,500. Right. And if you add that up and just put a little effort towards that, once you know this sauce that I literally just gave you, because this is the exact things that you're going to need, that the bank's going to be looking for. Now that you know that, you can even do a little pre-qualification. You're talking to somebody and say, hey, do you have this many accounts? Is your utilization this way? Do you have at least 10,000 in your credit cards, 15,000 in your credit cards? You don't have any negatives? Yep, you can get funding in the next 30 days. Kyle told me. And then you can be getting paid out on that. So those are the steps, right? So I want you to take advantage of that. Steph, I don't have over 10 accounts. Steph, you need to be looking at, again, with the team, what are the accounts that I need to add? Where's my profile now? And what do I need to do to get ready for funding? That's the fastest way to get to it, right? And you can research if you want to research it and say, okay, I'm going to figure out which accounts to add, or which ones I can do in short order. How can I get over 10 accounts? Whether I'm doing secured cards, whether I'm doing backdated rental accounts where I'm showing my rental history. Tree, thanks for the follow. I'm showing my rental history and they're backdating that, and you can do multiple accounts like that. So like if it's Rental Karma, or if I've got Boom Rentals or Rent Reporters, you can do Credit Sesame. You can do multiples of those at the same time, right? To be able to add accounts to your profile. Or if you can do things like pledge loans, right? If you're not familiar with the pledge loans, you can look it up. Right, Navy Federal, or different pledge loans that you can do, that you can have these accounts on your profile that show like it's a very strong account, and you don't even have to keep all of the money in there. Strategies of ways to do that, right? So I can break that down real quick. Again, like I said, I am I'm on borrowed time, because my wife is gonna call me up to make sure I get this kitchen clean before our day starts, right? So but yeah, no problem. Glad to share this information. And Self-Made, thanks for the follow, right? You guys put your questions in the chat. What question do you feel like is holding you back? But if we do nothing else, I need you to book a consultation call with the team, because that's going to lay out your next step. Whatever you need to do next, that's going to clear that up. So what do I need to do with my credit? Or if my credit is solid, then now I'm off to the races. Now, if utilization was the only thing holding you back, let me just share this very briefly, right? And I'm going to do that, and hopefully I can get to the business entity structure, just so you're aware of it. Like I said, you don't have to know it. You don't have to have an entity. But what do you need to do to restructure your entity? Because Mickey said that you need an LLC or to restructure your old one. We can help with that too, right? So Just Who says you work for a lender. You add age loans with low balances to your EIN Experian business. Okay, cool, right? Now, like I said, with this strategy, you do not need your Experian business credit score. You do not need a Paydex score to be able to access 100K in the next 30 days, to be able to access 150K, 130K, 80K, 180K. You do not need that. So this is why this is so powerful, because this is the strongest way to set up your business credit scores for that sort of funding in the future, right? Because we're getting these high level and high limit credit lines that are cash credit, which is one of the most powerful things to have on your business credit report. And these lines are $10,000 each, $20,000, $50,000, $35,000, $25,000. And this is a whole different ball game than being able to have on your credit report, $500 access line from Uline and $1,000 from Quill and Granger and things like that. It's a different ball game, a different approach to be able to start this the right way, where you can really position your business to be in good shape, right? So Tree says you're just beginning your business. You just need funding to start getting your supplies and a vehicle. 1000% Tree. we can set this up. So if you have if you have the information that we just said, the profile that you just need to get access to this in the next 30 days, then you're solid. If you do not have it, then you need to be leveraging who is the credit partner, right? Who is the credit partner that I can tap in with, who is sitting on this credit profile, and now we can get access to what we need to be able to get supplies and a vehicle, right? Or again, the team can help depending on your situation. These are not cookie cutter consultations. Is looking at your exact situation to know what do you need to be able to move forward. So, or we're looking at your situation to say, okay, you need a vehicle loan. So maybe we can tap you in with this loan product, right? Or maybe we can tap you in with this unsecured loan to be able to access this. Or you can use your business credit to be able to buy the vehicle outright, right? Or there's ways to get access to vehicle loans at low interest rates. And there's so many different things that we can help with. So the most important thing to do is to get that consultation call with the team, right? Get that consultation so you can know your next step. Again, fundingmyfuture.net, or you can send me a text. Send me a text at 240-240-6402. All right. And I can get you the direct link. And Pink Destiny, thanks for the follow, right? And thank you for sharing. Appreciate you. Right. And thanks for the gift also, Tree. All right. So Angel Eye says, let's get started. Let's get it started. Right. So what do you need to move forward? What questions do you have? Right. Let me know before we have to hop off here. Right. So get your questions together. Gip, thanks for the follow. So what questions do you have? Like I said, the main thing you need to do is just to get started today, because the time is going to fly by either way. I'm gonna say one more time for those that weren't on here. All right. The reason I'm here sharing this, squeezing this information in before I have to go upstairs and clean the kitchen, right? Is because I believe in abundance. I want you to be able to move forward. I want you to be able to elevate in your life. I want you to be able to fast track towards the place where you have freedom, right? Financial freedom and freedom of purpose and freedom of relationships, freedom of time, right? I want you to have full freedom to be able to live your God-given purpose in the earth. So whether you work with me or not, whether you work with our team or not, if you're working towards that, then I'm all good with that. The second thing is, again, I want the next generation to be more empowered and more equipped than we were coming up. So for that reason, I am donating and reinvesting a portion of my profits to a fund that's going to be helping young entrepreneurs to get into business, to get into investment, to get into financial literacy, to get into mentorships, to be able to push their lives forward in a faster way. And I do believe that rising tide will lift all boats. And I felt like God was telling me that you need to start this business off on a place of giving and not on scarcity. And then I will make everything work. Right. So again, if you're working with me, then that's a part of the equation. So we just went through the exact blueprint that you need on your personal credit side. Right. So in the next 3 minutes, if you're still tapped in, and let's write down the exact things you're going to need for your business entity structure. Right. I'm going to zip through it real quick. If anybody has any questions, and hopefully if anybody has issues with utilization, I'll be glad to share the utilization hack with you if you want to know about it. Right. If that's not you, we can skip it for today. But here we go. Number one, your business entity. Write this down. You need a business entity that has a non-high risk business name. The name is really important because the banks are going to judge you on your name. They're going to assign you to an industry based on what your name sounds like. And that may be advantageous for you, or it could be risky, right? So certain industries are going to be risky to the banks. A lot of times, things like real estate investing, things like trucking. If you're doing anything with CBD, if you're doing like gambling, or there's a lot of these things that can be risky. And there's a lot of things in the middle that might not be totally risky, but also they're not going to give the highest limits, the highest approvals to those types of industries. So the way to approach this, the best way to do the shortcut is if you can make your entity as generic and boring as possible, which means keyword enterprises, keyword solutions, keyword holdings, keyword group, right? Something very, very generic. And then when you do get a chance to submit your business description or your NAICS code, because you have that generic information on your business, then you can position it the exact way that the banks want. All right. So we'll go into more detail about the name. Number two, your business address needs to be a specific address that is not a PO box or does not look like a PO box. Now, this can be a home address, right? And I'm going to talk about the old ways have changed to where people were avoiding home addresses, But now a home address can actually get you the max funding if you approach it properly. And what's the shortcut way to do that is to leverage a dual LLC strategy, a dual entity strategy, where I've got one entity that's packaged completely the way the banks want to see it, and I'm going to get funded on that entity, and that might be using my home address potentially. And that keeps my privacy intact because nobody knows about this business besides the bank pretty much. And I have my other entity that is my client-facing entity, right? So now this is the name, the address, everything else. I can put whatever I want because this is what the clients are going to see, right? And if I want to have a virtual address for that or a PO box, if I can make it work, great, right? Do whatever you want on that. So then that way you keep everything separate. You can get the max funding and use this entity to fund the other one, right? This is a strategy that people are literally using right now every day, right? Stephen, thanks for the heart. Appreciate that. People are using this strategy every day to be able to maximize their funding and approvals, right? Again, you guys put your questions in the chat about this. Any questions in the chat? Deanne Smith, thanks for the follow, right? So that business address is really important. Now, as we do this, next you need a business phone number. G7 Magic, thanks for the follow. You need a business phone number, a dedicated business line that is not your cell phone, right? Who's that? Jack's Operating Company. Appreciate you. Appreciate the follow, right? And thanks for the gift, Deanne Smith. Sacred Scrump, appreciate the follow and good morning, right? You came in right on time because we're going through this information before I have to jump up and get baby girl and help my wife. We are expecting in the next 30 days. 30 to 40 days, right? So it's crunch time right now. So I'm getting as many of these lives in as I can before I get more tied up with the new baby, God willing. All right. So a business phone number that is dedicated, that is not your cell phone number, right? And there's a reason for that. But you can go to Ring Central, you can go to Grasshopper, you can go to Call 8. You can pay for a business line and have a dedicated phone number, right? Appreciate you, Diamond. A dedicated business phone number. Right. So next, you need a business website and a domain-based email address. Now, the website doesn't have to be anything crazy, just a literal landing page, something as simple and clean that's got some nice stock images, that has your business name and your business logo, right? It's got your business information on it, like your phone number, your email address, right? The contact info is there. It's got a loose description of what your business does. And if you can position, when it comes to the banks, if you can position in any way, form, or fashion, position it to where your business is doing some sort of consulting or some sort of marketing or some sort of education, those are going to be the least friction, right? And there's a whole list of, again, the team can help to guide you through this process, but there's a whole list of industries that are low friction to the banks. And if we can position ourselves in any way to do that, then great. Or again, like I said, if we have our designated entity that we can position, then even better, because now we can just put it exactly the way the banks want to see it, and we can use the funding for whatever we need to do, right? So Tree says you have a lab, you just need supplies and a work vehicle. So Tree, you're almost there. So you just need to put these couple of things in place. So again, start working on your personal credit, right? Dunn's number is cool. Dunn's number is cool. How much do you need, Tree, in your funding? It depends on the amount, right? But Dunn's number is cool. Right, we're gonna need a Dunn's number, but we don't necessarily need a Paydex score. We don't need to build up the business credit scores to be able to access this. This is the power of this. Once you have this personal credit profile, that 50K that you need, Tree, we can get that in the next 30 days. Right, we can get that 100K in the next 30 days, 130K, and this is either under you or again under who is the credit partner, right? That you can be doing, or if you refer, you know what I mean. You can start doing affiliate referrals and start building that amount up. You know, even while you wait, but there's multiple ways to be able to get into this. Angel Eyes, you say you signed up. Great move. Appreciate you. Right. A great move to be able to cut out all the guesswork. Right. This is the benefit of being able to work with the team, because we're working with people every day. Right. Tree, you said you have $699 to $732 and you have sole proprietor. Hey, no worries. Right. There's a lot of people who would say, okay, you need to switch from a sole proprietor to this type of entity, right? For tax reasons, and there's other benefits. However, even regardless of what you have, we can get you funded, right? With that, as long as you have this profile, right? So that credit score is probably a good start, but which one, Tree, is holding you back? Remind me, I don't know, you might have put it up there, but which one is holding you back from getting access to funding? Was it the cards? Was it the utilization? Was it the inquiries? Was it the total number of accounts? Was it the average age of your accounts, or was it negatives? right? So depending on which one of those, you might be 1 or 2 moves away from getting access again in the next 30 days to 80K, 100K, 150K that you could be using directly towards that stuff at 0% interest for the next 12 to 18 months. If you haven't applied yet, Tree, I would suggest that you book a consultation with the team, fundingmyfuture.net, or send me a text at 240-240-6402 so that you can get your next step laid out and you can start taking action now towards the goal. Right? Here we go. Should you make a holding company before creating an LLC? Now, there are a lot of reasons to do that, right? Tax protection and things like that. A lot of those strategies are really useful for people that have a ton of money. So if you're just starting out, if you don't get that exactly right in the beginning, I wouldn't worry about it too much, because we need to be focused on what am I doing in business to be able to generate revenue, right? To generate new income, to add value, right? And really money is a result of I'm solving someone's problem or I'm adding value to somebody, right? This is why I appreciate business when it's done in the right way, because this is actually helping the earth. You're helping people solve problems. What's the number again? 240-240-6402, right? 240-240-640, and then 2. All right, you can text me directly and I will send you the link. Or if you got 60 seconds, you can just go to fundingmyfuture.net or hit the link in my bio and go straight there. And it'll take 60 seconds to fill out the form, and then you can get a consultation booked with a team. And either you're going to meet with somebody that's talking about what do I need to do to fix your credit and improve your credit and set your credit up for this process, or your credit is solid. Now we're talking about what do we need to do to get you funded as soon as possible, right? And again, it's a free consultation. You're going to walk away with value. You're going to walk away with information and awareness about where you are, right? So that's the best thing I can tell you to do, right? How long do you have to be in business? Mad Hatter, 2001, 0. You don't have to be in business for any amount of time. This is the power of this information, right? We can open a business tonight, right? Start a business today. And once we set it up properly with what we're talking about, what I'm sharing about this business entity structure, and once you have that personal credit profile that I just shared earlier, I will zip through it again if you want. Once you have those two things and you marry those two with the right strategy and approach, it doesn't matter how long you've been in business. It doesn't matter even if your business doesn't have revenue yet. It doesn't matter if you have tax returns, if you have a business plan. You don't need any of that. As long as you have these two things, then you are solid to move forward. This is why I'm telling you this is one of the best ways to access high limits and high amounts to be able to use for your business at 0% interest for 12 to 18 months. And you are getting points, as you're using this. And we can liquidate these amounts into cash if you need to use things like down payments on real estate properties, or if you need like an SBA loan and you're trying to take down a business or purchase a business or do things like that, and you need a down payment to be able to put towards that needs to be cash and not credit. We can liquidate these things from these cards into cash without having it trigger as a cash advance. So you don't get those high interest rates. You don't get those high fees. You just pay a transaction fee one time, and then you can liquidate that into cash and do what you need to do. This is a game changer, right? So Mad Hatter, I need you to make sure that you book a call with the team, or send me a text, right? Go to fundingmyfuture.net and just fill out the form and get your consultation booked. All right, Lena, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow, Mad Hatter. RV 38512, thanks for the follow. Right. So did anybody miss? Did anybody miss that personal credit profile? That's the most important thing. Did anybody miss what we're talking about with this business entity structure? If you don't have that, if you don't get that, we can help to guide you with that. But I want you to be aware of this personal credit profile, because either this is you that has it, or this is your future credit partner. It could be a family member. It could be a spouse. It could be a fiance, or it could be just someone else that's in an entrepreneurship group, or someone else that's looking to advance, but they just don't have the time to do it, but they have the credit and they can partner with you. And they would be happy to make some money off of just their credit profile. Mark D, 240-240-6402, or 240-240-640, and the number 2, right? You can text me and I will send that to you directly. Again, the other way that you guys can leverage this right now. Deanne Smith, thanks for the gift. Appreciate you so much. Another way you can leverage this right now is, again, if you don't have a credit partner, you can be making money right now just referring people who have this profile. And you don't have to know much about it, and you don't have to do anything else. Once the person that has this profile is ready for funding, then you could be getting paid out. $1,000 a pop, $2,000 a pop, $2,500 a pop, $3,000 a pop, right? Not far-fetched. So you can be taking advantage of that right now. If you want to know about that, I want you to text me the word affiliate, right, to 240-240-6402. Text the word affiliate, or you can put affiliate in the chat. If you want to know about how to get signed up for that, and if you feel like I could put some effort towards that, or I could, I know some people who would be interested in funding or doing business, get tapped in with that. You might as well take advantage of it. I just told you the sauce that a lot of people may not know, and you're now aware the fact that you can access this stuff without having to have, again, any of those, the tax returns or W-2s or a lot of these things. These are no document programs. We can access this stuff without having to submit documents. So this is a game changer, right? So let's continue through. So we talked about the business name briefly. We talked about the business address. We can talk about virtual addresses and the pitfalls that you want to avoid if you're going to use virtual address. But we talked about how you can actually leverage a home address to your benefit to get the max funding, right? If you approach it the right way, and the team can guide you through that process. We talked about the business phone number. We talked about your business website. That's where we left off. Your business website needs to be something very simple. A landing page. You can get someone on Fiverr.com to create you a website in the next hour, for $20 that looks exactly what it needs to look. And they can create a logo and things like that too. If you use like a service like GoDaddy, and to get your domain, they have like AI website builders. You can get, and then in a matter of seconds, a website spit out that has your logo, that has your business name, that looks legit. It's got some stock photos. It's got a basic description of what your business does, which ideally is going to be something in that generic area, as far as, is it some sort of consulting, some sort of marketing, some sort of education, or something like that, regardless of what you do, and the other thing is, it's got your business information on your email, your phone number, business phone number, your business address, right? So that part's easy. And a domain-based email address, no Gmail, no Yahoo, just info@yourbusiness.com or your name @yourbusiness.com or whatever domain that you got, right? Now, last, we need your online presence to be solid, which means that if somebody looks up your business, does it show up? Andre Brewer, appreciate the follow. And Tara, appreciate the follow. Does your business show up on Google when somebody Googles it? Very simple, but incredibly powerful. Does it show up on Yelp? Does it show up on Bing? You can submit your information to these places. Go to Google My Business, or you do the Google panel. You go to Yelp, go to Bing. You can submit your information. You can do the 411 listing. Does your business show up in the 411 registry? You can go to this site called listyourself.net. listyourself.net. Write that down. And you can submit your business information to that site, and you can either pay for the national listing, or you can do the local one. Either one is helpful. The national one is probably a little better, but either one, you just need something there so that you show up in the local registry. So these are ways that people verify how legit is this business. Is this business going to just run away overnight, or is it something that's going to be around for a while? Banks like security and stability. The more secure they feel, the looser their pockets get. Right. And so you want to just set yourself up to be as attractive to the banks as possible. And this, I just finished that last part. This is the exact blueprint that you're going to need. Now, here's the last thing for your business entity structure. Super critical. Andrew Johnson, thanks for the follow. Super critical is your business entity needs to have information that matches across the board, line for line, dot for dot, letter for letter. So that means your business name, the way your business name is written, and the way your address is written needs to be exactly the same, to the point of, if you've got Suite 300 for your business address and you put STE for one, like on the IRS filing, but then on the state, you put SUITE, or maybe a bank wrote down your information and they logged your information as, STE period, and that period is there, but there's no period there. It's got to be the exact same across the board. Why? Because any difference is going to show up, your business is going to show up as multiple entities, and it's going to cause confusion for the computer that's approving you initially. And any confusion is going to either draw out the process, or it might lead to a denial, or it might lead to some more scrutiny and things like that cause issues. So if you can make it the same across the board, line for line, word for word, dot for dot, then that's going to be the best position, right? So again, so this is that's the blueprint, you guys. That personal credit profile, when you marry that with that business entity structure, and you combine that with the right strategy and approach, depending on who you're working with, like I said, because depending on how you go about this, the results can be drastically different. We're talking about $3,000 approvals, $8,000 approvals, $10,000 approvals versus $30,000 versus $50,000 versus $40,000 approvals on some of these cards. And I've seen that in real time, depending on who you work with. So I can only vouch for the results that we have been getting for people are in those higher ranges, right? So depending on how much you need for your business, if you don't need that much, then maybe it's not going to matter. But if you're looking to stack and say, I could use 150 or I could use 100 or 120, then I would encourage you to tap in with the team. Again, fundingmyfuture.net, or you can go to the link in my profile, or you can text me at 240-240-642. 240-240-6402. And I will send you the direct link, either if you want to know about the affiliate situation, or if you want to get your credit improved, or if you're ready for funding and you're ready to move forward. Right, Miss Mac, what's up? Good morning. Good morning to you. So any questions that you have left over? I gotta jump off. Like I said, happy wife, happy life. I gotta wash these dishes. It was great to be in here this morning with you guys. Please follow me for the next time that I'm coming on. If anybody wants to know that utilization hack, if you're dealing with utilization, right, and if you don't know those things that we need to deal with, right, to be able to have your personal credit in place, I will zip through it one more time if you're just coming in, right? However, if not, then I will keep it moving. But if anybody wants to know the hack, or if you want to know one more time, what is that personal credit profile? As far as number one, your credit cards, $10,000 to $15,000 limit added up. Your utilization below 30%. Ideally below 10%, your increase below 3 per bureau, your again, take notes, the total number of accounts on your report needs to be 7 to 10 accounts or more across the board, all your accounts in your name, mortgages, student loans, auto loans, store cards, credit cards. And the more mix that you have, the better. Number 5, the average age of your credit is more than 2 years, or it's 4 to 5 years or more. Right, ideally, and no negatives. So that means no late payments, no collections, no charge-offs, no bankruptcies. And the late payments is really in the last 2 years. So anything older than 2 years, we can squeeze by. Anything recent, then you're ready to go. All right, one more time, only one yees. One more time. And again, for you, you need to be tapped in with the team, because they're going to break down for you everything that you're going to need. As soon as you do that, and you say, okay, this is what I need to work on with my credit, remove this, add this, change this. They're gonna lay all that out for you. So that's what I would suggest that you do. But I will break it down one more time. What's up, Yoni? I will break it down one more time. All right, and thanks for the follow. Okay, last time for only one yees. Please write this down before I hop off. All right, please write this down. Number 1, your credit card limits. If you add up all your limits, is it $10,000 to $15,000 or more? All your credit card, your personal credit card limits in your name, not authorized users, your credit cards, and you've had those cards for at least a year. So if you're sitting on that, that's the hardest part. If you're not sitting on that, now it's time to get to work. And again, tap in with the team. Number 2, write this down, Yoni. Number 2, your utilization needs to be under 30%. This is across all of your cards, your total, as well as each individual card. Under 30%, ideally under 10%. Number 3, your increase needs to be 0 to 3 increase per bureau. Right, 3 increase max, and as few increases as possible in the most recent 6 months. So don't go applying for everything right now. Right, 0 to 3 increase. Number 4, at least 7 to 10 primary accounts in your name on your report, and as much mix as you can muster. Jiggy Boy says minimal utilization is under 10%. That's a good thing. So that's one of those check marks. Jiggy Boy, let me know if you're check mark on all these other ones that I'm talking about. Right. So at least 7 to 10 primary accounts in your name. Number 5 is the average age of your credit. Hopefully you're writing this down. Only one yees. The average age of your credit needs to be 2 years or more. Ideally, it's 4 to 5 years or more. Right. And then finally, we want no negatives, which means no late payments in the last 2 years, no collections, no charge-offs, and no bankruptcy. If you've got that, you are literally sitting on $100,000, $120,000, $150,000, $80,000 in the next 30 days without having to submit anything else, any documents. So Jiggy Boy, credit age, is that the only thing holding you back, Jiggy Boy? Let me know. You telling me you got more than 10 to 15,000 in credit limits? Your low utilization, you got 0 to 3 inquiries, you got at least 10 accounts on your report, and you got no negatives, but credit age is the only thing holding you back, let me know. Because if that's the case, then you're one move away. All right. And thanks, only one yees. Yep. So you wish you had 10 accounts. Jiggy boy, you need to be tapped in with the team, fundingmyfuture.net, or send me a text at 240-240-6402. 240-240-642. Send me a text so that I can get you tapped in, because they will be able to tell you, okay, you don't have these accounts. These are the ones. Maybe we can talk about these to be able to add this, right? Your credit age is low now too. You need more accounts as well. There's ways we can deal with the age, right? So we have answers for all of these things. There's ways we can deal with the age that we can maneuver this. Again, we can add, I talked about authorized user trade lines. We can add an authorized user trade line to your profile, right? To be able to increase your age significantly, right? You add somebody's credit card that's got a 20-year history. It's not a silver bullet for like your personal credit card limits, or it doesn't just automatically change everything. But what it does change is your age, and it does change your utilization. So if that's the last thing that you need, we can add those either from somebody that you know, or you can purchase one to add to your profile for 60 days. And that can get you over the hump to get funding. Totally possible, right? Jiggy boy, private marketing developer, you're a sole proprietorship transitioning into LLC. Dope. Either way, we can help you with that. We can help if it's a sole proprietor too, right? There's a lot of reasons to use an LLC and not do sole proprietor. That's a different conversation about tax strategy and approach. But we can help you to get funded 100K, 80K, 150K in 30 days, even if you have a sole proprietorship, right? Add 1 to 2 authorized user accounts. Yep. So if you have all those check marks on everything else, then you're good to go. All right. So you guys, I'm turning into a pumpkin. Like I said, happy wife, happy life. I got to make sure and get these dishes clean before baby girl gets up. So you said not as many options, sole proprietor. To be honest, Jiggy boy, I'm telling you that we're helping people with this every day. If you could use 120,000 at 0% interest, then those are your options. If you have a sole proprietor, you don't know what you don't know. Like I said, we're helping people with this every day. So there's still something you can access if you have the right things lined up in that personal credit profile and that business entity structure. That's what you need, right? We can deal with the transition to the different entity type and all that stuff later, right? If you want to. But what I'm saying, as far as this approach with this 0% credit stacking method, which is why I say it's so powerful, that even like where you are, if you have those things lined up that we talked about, personal credit profile, business entity structure, then you are solid. And then you can make your moves, whatever you want to do for your tax benefits. And, if it's S corporation later down the road, or a corporation, or whatever the case, but we can help with whatever it is, right? So again, you guys, tap in, send me a text. Make sure you go to fundingmyfuture.net and book a consultation call with the team, a free consultation. That's one of the best things that you can do. If you want to know about the affiliate situation, again, put affiliate in the chat, or send me the word affiliate with your name as well, so I can get you the information to get you the affiliate stuff. Right. So, and thank you guys for tapping in. And I want to share this information again, because life is not promised, you guys, and we need to be moving forward with speed. And I want to give you the tools that you can use to be able to fast track your progress and to be able to minimize your failure rate. And you can access mentorships and high ticket, individuals that have information that can get you the exact thing that you need to do to get successful in your business. This business credit can help with all of that, can help with having assistance to be able to help free up your time and to do business activities for you, materials, like all these other things. It's totally possible. Can you write off an auto loan? Yes, definitely. You can write off an auto loan 100%, right? So consult your CPA as far as your situation. Yep. But hey, what's up, JPS? Good to see you, and happy holidays to you guys as well. Right. I know I appreciate those that are working on improving themselves and pushing things forward in their life and their business, even during this holiday time. So happy holidays to you guys, whatever it is that you celebrate, or even if you don't, happy holiday, right? Yep. So definitely time to rise and grind for sure. Time to rise and grind. So Miss Mac, so send me that text, right? Ms. Mac, if you want to know about the affiliate situation, you can be making money right now. Jiggy boy, thanks for the follow. You could be making money right now. Just find somebody that meets these requirements, or someone that's interested in funding, and we can tap them in. All right. So much love, you guys. Appreciate you. Follow me, and we'll tap in the next time. I hope this was helpful for you and encouraging and inspiring to say, okay, maybe I wasn't as far as I thought. Maybe these things that were roadblocks in my mind, maybe they're not actually roadblocks. If I just do these couple of moves, maybe I can get in position to be able to access this funding to push things forward quickly. So much love, you guys. I will see you next time around, and have a great day. Peace.